We've all seen our students' eyes glaze over. I've seen it myself. But when we sing, move, listen, copy, they might even start to predict. That's when the light bulb goes on.
Welcome to episode 2 of Piano Teaching Success podcast. I'm Gillian.
And I'm Paul. Today we're going to share with you the latest research into the neuroscience of how human beings learn best. When I saw this research, I was floored. I realized that intuitively, the whole body learning philosophy ticked each box.
This research came out in about 2020, so it's really quite recent. It was done by French cognitive neuroscientist Dr. Stanislas Dehaene, who identified the 4 conditions needed for the brain to learn effectively. And it's commonly referred to as Dehaene's 4 pillars of learning. Paul, let's run through this model and how it relates back to teaching piano.
Absolutely. This is a model that loops back on itself, sometimes known as a spiral learning model. Let's start with the first step. It's attention. Kids learn when their brain is awake and ready to learn. Don't we know it? Movement and novelty trigger this. Whole body learning is full of micro activities that keep attention engaged. You saw a raft of micro activities in episode 1. The second part of the model is active engagement, because we know passive learning doesn't work.
It doesn't. So what do we mean by active learning?
Well, we've all seen our students' eyes glaze over. I've seen it myself. That's when I kick off with a whole body learning activity, because I know that when students sing, move, listen, copy, they might even start to predict. That's when they learn faster.
And step 3 is error detection and feedback. Mistakes. Oh, don't you hate it when they come back week after week and it sounds all like topsy-turvy, wrong fingers, wrong rhythms? Oh, it's frustrating, and it's jolly hard to reprogram those neural pathways once they've built them and practiced them in for a week. So in whole body learning, we teach small bite-sized chunks as we go and we perfect them. So usually just a minimal correction is needed. Students leave the lesson having mastered these small chunks. So all they need to do is just keep them there in the week. So not a lot of practice is needed, which is really good because kids these days are so busy, right? So with this stage of Dehaene's model, the aim is for students to detect and correct their own errors. But we know that takes quite a while. So we also need to provide instant feedback to help correct mistakes as they go. There's no point in waiting to the end of a 3-page piece to say, now in bar 1, they're like, ding, it's all gone completely out of their brains. So these days we've got access to a whole heap of technology as well that can help us. Things like using our phones to video them or us as a take-home example. And one of my absolute favorites is using backing tracks, fully orchestrated backing tracks. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in future episodes. So, with backing tracks, students can really hear if they're playing in time with the correct rhythm and the correct notes instantly. So they're taking home an example of exactly what to do. It's kind of like a metronome, but way more musical. So backing tracks or any kind of ensemble style playing, and kids who play in bands get this because they play with each other, it inherently makes students listen and adjust to stay in time and do that error detection and correction.
And the fourth part of the model is consolidation. This is where repetition is important. If you just say again, like I probably did a long time ago, it just gets boring and the kids switch off and you lose their attention and engagement. And that's where clever repetition steps in, which means doing the same thing in different ways. Now, you could use movement, singing, playing with backing tracks. You might even use color on the sheet music to identify patterns. These are a few suggestions to strengthen memory from multiple angles.
And this is where we start to get the spiraling effect or lose it, right? So if we held their attention or hold their attention through the clever repetition, that's when the spiral starts to really activate, and that attention builds active engagement. Let's take a look at cha-cha-cha and apply Dehaene's model to the whole body learning methodology you see in this piece.
Cha-cha-cha. 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 Cha-cha-cha.
Let's unpack that a little bit. Attention and engagement.
Yeah, that's coming from the music. It's fun and uplifting. You could play a percussion instrument like I did in the first section, and you could play it all the way through. And there's a good reason to do it again. So let's try it with something else. So you could try it with actions on the body. So different parts of the body, on the head, you go across the body like this, on other parts of the body. One of the best things about doing that is that you've got the engagement. The children have to watch you really, really closely so they know exactly what you're doing. So, because they don't want to make a wrong movement.
Yeah, and they're kind of like excited to know what's coming up next, right?
It certainly keeps them on their toes. And of course, we've got engagement through the listening and the synchronizing with the music.
And then there's error detection for times when they didn't synchronize the rhythmic pattern with the music. It's not boring. They're kind of like on the edge of their seats going, what's next?
Exactly. And then we've got the clever repetition of taking it to the paper keyboard where you can focus on other things. Once they've got that pattern in their body, you can then start to focus on, where their fingers are, and some technique and playing that and where the two black notes are. And so playing on the paper keyboard once through on the paper keyboard and singing at the same time, cha-cha-cha, while they're playing, then they're ready to play it on the piano. So you've got all of this repetition. And whilst it does take a little while to do, you are building up such great skills, especially the playing in time and then listening to stay in time. So there's a lot of skills being built, even though you're doing the same thing in a few different ways.
And I think this is where whole body learning comes to the fore. In the early part of learning a piece, it is more time consuming than just get the book out and play the first note. But actually it's quicker because when they go to play it, they play it perfectly. So there's none of this having to go again, generally, because by the time they've done it in all those different ways, they can't make a mistake. So it's quicker. It's actually quicker.
And this is the same song that we had in episode 1. So if you haven't tried it out with your students, make sure you give it a go because they are going to love it.
The links to the teaching resources, including the track, are in the show notes. So let us know how you go. We'll also pop into Dehaene's model too. Well, coming up in episode 3, we'll be looking at the 3 M's that make up this multidimensional whole body learning methodology. So you can use it in your studio as well.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in episode 3. Bye.
Bye.